Hello and welcome back. So Nelson, we have this utility created. What's up next?
Okay, we need to actually make this grammar do something. And the something that it's going to do is parse JSON files and put it into a data structure that we can consume inside of C#.
Okay.
We're going to be doing that using actions, which you already saw in the last video, where we actually injected C# code into the generated parsers. And this is the easiest way to actually get a result back from Antler into our own code. But before we can do that, we need to actually go ahead and define the interfaces and classes that we're going to be interacting with inside of this grammar file so that we can get JSON at the end.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with a basic abstract namespace. And I'm going to place two interfaces in it. iValue. Now, iValue, we're not going to fill it up with anything yet, but the goal of iValue is that everything in JSON is going to be a value. So you'll see right here in this example text, this is a value, it's an object. This is a value, it's an array. This is a value, it's a constant. And this is another value that's an object. This is another value that's an array. And this is another value that's a constant. So those are the three types of values we're going to be supporting. We're not worried about the runtime representation of the iValue just yet in this video. What we're going to be doing is taking a look at our iValue builders. And our iValue builders is going to be a very simple interface called iValue builder. iValue builder.
Nice.
And it's simply going to have a method that returns iValue called build. Now, the reason I'm making this iValue builder interface is because we need objects during parsing that will collect information about what's going on during the parse, and then at the end of it, we can just call the build method and get our value back. Now, the problem here is, though, is that JSON is recursive in nature, so we have to represent values and value builders as a sort of top-level interface and a top-level runtime object, but we're going to be actually writing a few different classes for the different types of values and value builders that we're going to support. So I'm going to create another namespace here called builders. The first class I'm going to put into it is going to be, let's just start with a constant builder, because a constant builder is the simplest builder. A constant builder will simply take in an object called constant and assign it to a variable. Finally, it'll implement iValue builder and implement the members. Now, I'm going to leave line 16 as throwing an unimplemented exception because we're not actually going to write the concrete value object yet. Next, I'm going to go ahead and build a array builder. That's also very simple. The array builder, the goal of the array builder is going to be to collect an array of other iValue builders, and then at the end of it, kind of, build them up and return a value that represents that. So I'm going to start with an empty constructor that's just going to instantiate a list of builders. And we're going to turn that into a nice little field. And then we're simply going to have a method called push that takes an iValue builder and simply appends it onto the list that we're collecting. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and implement the iValue builder interface, but we're not going to put an implementation in build yet. Now, finally, I'm going to go ahead and create the object builder. The object builder is the most complex builder that we're going to be dealing with, and it's simply going to have another builders field, but it's going to have a dictionary of type string and iValue builder. That's because an object in JSON is going to be just a bag of properties. So we're going to have a public void set property, and it's going to take in a string key and an iValue builder, and for now we're just going to do builders.add key builder. Finally, we're going to implement the iValue builder interface, but we're not going to implement it just yet. So here are our three builders, and with these three builders combined, we can create a hierarchy of builders that is representative of the JSON data, and then we can ultimately at the top level call this build method, which will recursively reach into all of the other nested iValue builders if they exist in the case of objects and arrays, and continue to build out recursively. So that way we can achieve this sort of syntax here where we could have nested values on nested values on nested values and nested values and so on. So now that we have the interface up for how we're going to build out JSON, I think this is a good place to wrap up this video. And in the next video, we will start looking at how we can consume this interface within Antler.
Sounds fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much, and we will catch you in the next video.